Hello and welcome to Cloud Perceptor channel. Today we'll be having a hands-on demo session for Azure Resource Manager, which is used for infrastructure as a code in Azure. So what is Azure Resource Manager? So Azure Resource Manager is a deployment and management service for Azure. It provides management layer that enables you to create, update, and delete resources in your Azure account. You can use like management features like access control, locks, and tags to secure and organize your resources after deployment. Okay, so uh, this is an overview where Azure is the Microsoft Cloud product. Resource is any service that you use within the Azure ecosystem, and manager, it's a program or system that controls or organizes devices or processes. Okay, so that's ARM. Okay. So let's say you are creating an instances of virtual machines, okay, from the UI. So basically, ARM is being used behind the scenes, even if you create it from portal. So this is the overall diagram. It shows, you know, that ARM is being interacted using API interface and portal, okay, and these are the resources that can be created like app service, virtual machines, databases, and other services. So it's a huge range of services that you can create using ARM. And these are the resource group. So each resource group will contain uh, different resources, let's say VM, SQL, and like the database, okay, and some other services as well. And DRM can interact with these resource groups, okay. So this is the infrastructure as a code, the overall diagram. And while using ARM template, you need to you will get a JSON template probably, okay, that you need to modify it as per your requirement. And again, see this the benefit of using ARM as your resource manager is that it like repetitive work, okay, can be easier, and creating resources can also be easier. So once you have the template ready, you can create it, reuse it for other environments, okay, for recreating the resources. I'll show you. We'll be creating one virtual machine using this ARM template, and I'll show you how easy is that. Okay. So this is the sample JSON template for the uh, one of the resources. Okay. So here there is a name, okay, which is the virtual machine name. So this is for virtual machine basically. Type is Microsoft Compute Virtual Machine. Then API version is there. Location is there. Depends on. Okay, so depends on means, let's say I will be creating a virtual machine. Okay, so just creating the virtual machine won't be enough. It will need a network to interact. It will need a storage account. Okay, storage and network will be required. So that's why it depends on. It's these two things. Okay. Next is the hardware profile, which is the VM size. So what is the size of the VM? Okay, we need to mention it over here. Okay, like small, large, something like that. Okay, and storage profile. So there's the image, and again you see these parameters, right? So basically these parameters are defined in the parameters.json file. Okay, so it's not required that it should be parameters.json, but it's a JSON file where it's gonna pick the parameters from. I'll show you in detail. This is the image reference. So this virtual machine is using Ubuntu, so that's why it is mentioned over there here that Ubuntu server, okay, SKU and version. So this is a sample JSON template for one of the virtual machines. So you know everything is defined over here, and it's like a template that you can reuse it and create resources accordingly. So yeah, these are the parameters. Okay, I told you right. So we define the parameters in a parameter JSON file. So these are the parameters which are defined. So virtual machine name, as you can see here, parameters virtual machine name. So again, it should match this key, okay, from the parameters file when you want to use it in your template. Okay. Next is the location, West US. So we have also used this parameter over here. Okay. Similarly, the other parameters like there can be huge range of parameters while you create the virtual machine. So accordingly, those parameters can be used over here. Okay. So in a similar way, if you look at the comparison of the parameters that you input from the portal, Azure portal, while creating the virtual machine, you can see, right, that virtual machine name is like this. Okay. So instead of text box over here, we are currently inputting it from the JSON file. So this is just a comparison. Okay. So again, this is important, depends on, okay. So if you have any dependency of your Azure service, you can mention all the dependencies over here. So ERM templates describes the resources or services that you want to deploy. It's idempotent, so repeatedly, okay. So all of the repeated work can be executed quite smoothly and easily, okay. So as you can see over here, we can deploy multiple virtual machines using ARM templates. So these are some of the important, you know, attributes for ARM templates. Okay. So one is parameters, functions, variables, resources, and outputs. Okay. So parameters, it's like name, type, and default value. Okay. Functions are user defined. You can think of a spreadsheet formula or an expression. Okay. And again, the variables, it's like more like reusable constant values. Okay. Resources are where resources are defined. Okay. And values for information or daisy chaining templates. Okay. So let's say if I have multiple templates, okay, and the other template is dependent on the value outputted from the first template, then you can chain multiple templates using the output. Okay. So something like that. So let's look at the attributes in detail. So parameters. So this is as I told you, right, we can keep a separate parameter JSON file. It looks like this. So parameter name is there. Type can be string, int, boolean, array, object, string, secure object, and secure string. Okay, default values, allowed values, min, max, length, and values. Metadata. So description is there. So these are some of the built-in functions, as I told you, right? In functions, it's similar to Excel, Excel functions, okay, like the formulas that you use. So it's quite similar to here. So these are array, comparison, date, numeric, object, resource, and string. So huge range of functions are available that you can use. So the functions, JSON looks something like this. So functions, inside that there is a namespace and the members, function name, parameters, output, value, and type. Okay. So again, a note, important note, while you use built-in logical functions within your user-defined function, there is no facility for iteration or for loops. Okay. So user-defined functions are a way of separating out complex or compound functionality that you want to use more than once into a separate piece or template code. So these are variables. So like you can reuse the variables. Okay, so variables, variable name is there, settings, size, large, count, resources. So resources has a key, name, type, API version, location, tags. Okay, depends on is also there, and properties. This is for the output. So type is string, int, bool, array, object, string, secure object, secure string, and value is the output value that you are going to output. Okay, again, while outputting, you can use the parameter, or maybe if you want to return any output that is derived from a function, you can also use that. Okay, So in the lab session, what we are gonna do is we'll create a virtual machine using ARM, okay, and we'll deploy that. So the first step, you need to log into your Azure portal, okay. Click on virtual machines, click on create. There's your virtual machine. Okay, so here you will be getting too many options to create the virtual machine. So basically, it's like basic options, then disk, networking management, advanced tags, review, and create. So we are not going to into much detail because this is not a session for creating a virtual machine, but it is for ARM, okay, Azure Resource Manager. So we'll be quickly creating, like selecting the options. So I will be using the existing resource group, okay. The name it something like this. We'll be using Australia East, okay. So here I'll be using this VM, 1 GB of memory. All right. Next, we are allowing the RDP port over here, 3389. Click on next for the disk part. I'll be using standard SSD. Right. No need for going into the advanced because okay. Next is the virtual network. Let's create a new one. Let's keep it as a default. Okay. Allow selected ports 3389. That's fine. No need of load balancer or application gateway. Click on next. To go, click on next. In the advanced option, keep everything default. Tags, I will name something. Okay. The name, I'll put it as VM name, something like this. Okay. Click on review and create. Okay, so validation has passed. Everything looks good. We won't be creating using the portal. Okay. What we are gonna do is we'll download the template for automation and be saving it. Okay. So click on the download a template for automation. So when you click on that link, you will get the template in some of the edit form. Okay. So here you will find the parameters, variables, and resources. Okay. So we have around 25 parameters that are getting inputted. Okay. And there are 4 variables and resources are 5. Okay. So network interfaces, network security groups, network name, public IP address name, and virtual machine. Okay. So these are the parameters. I told you, right? Uh, these are the parameters that are getting inputted. Okay. And these are some of the scripts. But I want to tell you, right? You can execute this using PowerShell and your CLI. Okay. So without wasting any more time, we are going to download it. Okay. And save it on our local system. Click on download. All right, I've downloaded it and I have 2 files in a zip file format. Okay, so one is parameters. Click on view. So this is my parameter file. Okay, where all the parameters will be there. Let me just create, execute this template for you. So I'm back to the Azure portal. I will click on Cloud Shell. Okay, so remember to select Bash. Okay, there will be two options available, Bash and PowerShell. Remember to use this. Okay, let's. Okay, I already have two files over here, so I'll remove those. Okay, and touch template.json. JSON. Okay, first we'll edit the template.json. Okay, click on this curly braces. Okay, to open the editor. Let's make it a little bit bigger so that we can. So when you execute this command, you will get a blank file over here, template.json. What we're going to do is we'll edit this file. Okay, and we'll copy this and paste it over here. Okay, all right. So this is good. We don't require any more changes over here, so we'll save it. Control S. Okay, it's gonna save this file. Next is we'll be creating one more file. Let's close it. Next is parameters.json. Okay, so touch parameters.json, right? And we'll do a refresh over here. So parameters.json file will appear, right? Let's view this file and let's put it over here. Contents. Okay. One important thing, the password parameter will be null over here. So it's good to put some password over here. So this is not an ideal password one is going to use for production, but for the demo purpose, it's fine. Okay. Rest all the parameters look good. So we are gonna save it. Okay. And again, let me open this. Let me just show you. We don't have any resources currently. Okay. In Cloud Perceptor RG. Okay. We don't have any VM over here. Okay. We just have a cloud storage thing, but that's a different service. So after executing this template, ARM template, we will see one virtual machine. Okay, it's gonna create a lot of many resources like network storage. Storage will be there, network components will be created. Okay, so now we are good with the template. So uh, there is a command for that. First of all, let's set the variable of resource group to Cloud Perceptor RG. Okay, right. So we have the variable set. Now let's execute this command. Okay, we have to tweak. Okay, the resource group, create resource group dollar hyphen template. Okay, all right, there was a missing template.json value over here. So in this slide it was not showing, so I've kept it in a new line. Let's execute this command. Okay, okay, 1 minute. Let me put this under the same line. Okay, okay, so we are going to use this command probably. Let me just modify this. So we have the file as parameters.json. Okay. template.json is the template file, and resource group we already have. Okay, so we are going to execute, but here resource group name, it's not coming up, so let's hard code it. That's okay. So the cloud perceptor -rd, right? Maybe while defining this variable, we have given it in a single quote, so that's why it was not coming up. Let's wait for a minute. Yeah, it's running. Okay, so what I'll do is I will put this command in the slide. Let's wait for a minute. If you are not given the password, see when you export the template, it won't put the password in the template. Okay, so it will show as null over there. And if you execute the template as it is, it's gonna show you an error that null value not allowed for the password. So it's a good practice to edit the template and put a password over there. And of course, it should not be in a plain text. So there are ways to encrypt it. So it's still running. Let me pause this video until this gets done. All right, so the command execution is complete, and this is the JSON output we have received. So now let's go back in our Azure portal and see if the resources are created. So I'll be going in my resource group. Okay, so as you can see, it has created a new virtual machine, network, and uh, the storage account and everything. Okay, so uh, let me go in my virtual machines and see. Yep. So this is a virtual machine that has been created. Okay, and we can see it's up and running. This was the VM name that we have given. Let's look at the parameters file. We already have the parameters file over here, so you can see, right? Let me search for this name. So this CPM VM is the VM that has been created. Okay, CPM new. Okay, and this is the network interface. This is the network security group, and CPM new. This is the name, CPM new. Okay, if we look at this, CPM new is the name. Okay, it is successfully started and accessible. So this is how you can create resources using Azure Resource Manager, and this is it's very easy as this. Okay, if we look at this command that we just executed, yeah, is a deployment group create resource group. So this is the resource group. You need to mention over here, and this is my template file, and this is my parameter file. Okay, so hyphen parameters is for the parameters.json, and this is for the template.json. Okay, and when you execute it, it will return you some JSON format. That means the resources that have been created. Okay, so this is how Azure Resource Manager works, and we saw a practical example where we created a virtual machine using ARM template. Okay. Okay, one important thing I would like to show you the Azure Quick Start templates. Okay, so this is the link for that, azure.microsoft.com/en-ian resources templates. Okay, so these are some of the templates that you can use. These are the Quick Start templates. Okay, so let's say you have this one. Let me just copy this link and put it in my machine. Okay. So let's say uh, if you want to reuse any template, okay, then you can reuse it from over here. So something like this. Let's say I want to create a virtual network net. It's gonna give you this many options. Okay, it's gonna show you what parameters it has and what is the description for that. Okay, and the commands as well. Okay, the PowerShell and Bash command. If you want to deploy it to Azure, you just need to click on deploy. Of course, you should be logged into your Azure account. Okay, and here I'm already logged in into this session, this browser session. So see, this is how easy it is like this. Okay, a virtual machine net. It's gonna provide me all the options over here, and I just need to click on review and create it. You can edit the template. You can also visualize. Okay, so this is a great option if you want to visualize your template and see the visualization view. So this is how the visualization view looks like. Okay, so this is my VM Nick. Okay, something like this. Okay, and here you can also edit the template. Okay, you can edit the parameters as well. Okay, from the UI, and if you want, then you can review and create it from the UI itself. So this is an easy option. We are looking for reusing the existing templates which are created by someone. Okay, so it's a great feature available in Azure. So that's it for this session. Thanks for watching this video. Do like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.